to training camp yesterday, and so much talk around the offseason has been about the marriage between their first-year head coach Ben Johnson and their second-year quarterback Caleb Williams. I want you to listen to both of them talking yesterday about how they are approaching this camp and this season and how different it sounds.
Obviously, I have self-goals, and that's, being the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history. That's a, goal of mine, 70% completion. That helps the team, keeps us on the field, puts us in better positions. And then other than that, just trying to go down and, score the most points that we can with each drive that we have. So, that's kind of my self-goal, and obviously other than that, you got to go win.
There were some footwork things that we wanted to clean up, trusting the timing of your feet, being able to anticipate throws. It's a lot of stuff that goes into that position, and rather than throwing the whole gauntlet at them, we're just building it from the ground up.
So those two things didn't sound similar to one another. In fact, as soon as Caleb started talking, Nick, I saw you react out of the corner of my eye. What was that reaction?
I mean, it just was, it's obvious to me that he's giving the media and the fans something to grab onto, which, he understands how it works. He knows what we want to hear, but it backfires. That always backfires. It seems to me that what he needs to be focused on, and he probably is focused on these things, but he's telling us another thing. But it just is it's a scary thing to hear when your quarterback is coming out there telling everybody his statistical goals.
Yeah, I'm not going to assume that he's focused on those things, though, just because Ben Johnson said them. I mean, I want to hear Caleb Williams say the fact that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to talk about being the first 4K passer. I'm not going to talk about 4,000 yards. I'm not going to talk about 25, 30 passes, whatever over-unders you want to put on TV. I'm not going to talk about none of that. What I am going to talk about is the fact that, guess what? Ben Johnson and my quarterback coach sat me down and said, this is how we're going to watch film. This is how we're going to start practice. This is what I want you to concentrate on 3, 5, and 7-step drop. This is how the routes are going to distribute. This is how it's going to convert against cover 2, against cover 3. These are the things that are going to help you go bing, bang, boom. To the next thing you know, you got a 300-yard game, a 400-yard game, a 275-yard game, no sacks, no unnecessary sacks, throw the ball away. Talk about the process. Because at the end of the year, Bears fans, I mean, you can speak for them better than anybody. We'll sit there and go, hey, man, we don't need to hear about any of these proclamations early on now. Just tell us about how you're going to not take sacks, know how the offense is going to be run, and how you're going to win football games. That's it.
It sounds like young Caleb is watching the A block of Get Up along with Jerry Jones. Because the 4,000 yards, it's just so specific, and I feel like that's been the conversation surrounding him and what are the expectations now that he's paired with Ben Johnson. You saw how Ben Johnson, as soon as he started talking, it was kind of boring. You're like, okay, because he's talking about the really rudimentary, basic stuff. Ben Johnson is obsessive about the details. And that's where Caleb has to be. I think if Caleb, I don't want to hear about the goals. I kind of just want Caleb to be competent in an offense, to by season end master that offense, look comfortable, know what a defense is trying to do to him, know where to go with the football. Those are the things. Even his pro day, I remember scouts and GMs said, I just want to see him do the basic stuff. We know he can do all the flashy stuff. I want to see him do the basic stuff. And so far in his NFL career, Caleb, that needs to be his focus, the basics.
That's right. Now, look, to be fair to him, he was probably asked, and so he answered a question, and that's fine. No one is sitting here saying, oh, this is a terrible thing for him to say. But what I do know, and this is sort of an old thing that golfers talk about all the time, you don't stand on the first tee thinking to yourself, I want to shoot 68 today. You stand on the first tee thinking, I need to hit a good shot right here. And then the next one, and then the next one, and on it goes. And it sounds from what the coach is saying, like they're tearing him down to the studs. Right? If they're working on the footwork, they're tearing it down to the very beginning.
I think also, though, in Caleb's defense, it's the things that you tell the media, not all the things that are in your head.
Right.
And I think that lots of players do write down personal goals and think about personal goals. I think what we have quibbled with is that he's sharing that not as much, or what we want him to be sharing is the quarterback speak that we've grown accustomed to. When someone asks you, what are your personal goals? Whether you have them or not, you're supposed to say, I'm not worried about that. I just want to do the best I can for my team and make sure we win. And so, we understand that you can have those goals and still be going and focusing on those little things, but this is part of the game. We're in a new era where it feels like players are being a little bit more open and honest, and we don't always like what we hear.
You just hope behind the scenes, though, he's carrying out what Ben's talking about, that he really is obsessive about those things. Because sometimes, look, Don, we've played with guys who have these grandiose expectations of themselves, then you're sitting there and you're going, damn, aren't you the last one in the weight room? Weren't you the last one to walk into the meeting room? And you're talking about all these things you want to do and you can't figure out why you aren't getting them? Like that's what you just hope that he's paying attention to.
And when it comes to footwork, just because we had a whole long conversation about it this morning, you were making the point, when you got to San Francisco early in your career, what was Mike Holmgren focused on?
I mean, it was about footwork. It was about speed away from center. Like look, this is what the pacing of the drop deep look like. Steve Young, Joe Montana, they've been pretty good dudes. I mean, they wound up playing some pretty good football in their career. And who were the wide receivers? Jerry Rice and John Taylor. I mean, that's what everything was about, was the timing. So, I mean, look, Ben is on the right track. I'm not sitting here questioning him. I just hope Caleb is as well.
Yeah. It's not going to be about those numbers at the end of the day.
If he's doing
and
the
in
basics.
Fairness, he talked about a variety of different things. Those are the things, to your point, that are going to wind up people are going to latch onto. They've never had a 4,000-yard passer. Well, that's one of his goals.
Yeah.
Right now, let's stay in the division. Hey, Louis Riddick, Terry McLaurin did not report to camp in Washington. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your level of concern?
10 plus, and if we could go higher, I'd go higher. Look, you don't mess with the kind of chemistry that they have built, and the kind of organization that they have built now under this new regime down in Washington. And a large part of that has to do with Terry McLaurin and obviously the relationship that he has built with Jayden Daniels. Everyone talks about the sophomore slump. Everyone's anticipating Jayden's going to now hit the slump because teams have film on him. Teams are going to figure out how to defend him and Terry McLaurin and the rest of this offense. Well, guess what isn't going to help? Terry not being in camp and having, being the number one wide receiver that he is. Give him his money and move on.
Kmart, your thoughts? 10. He says a 10 on the list of concerns.
Yeah, I'm shocked because I'm kind of at a 4.5 because we're still in July. I think the only thing I can imagine is the Commanders are looking at it like, okay, he's going to be 30 at the start of the season. We want to find a fair value. I do think this gets done because Terry wants to be there and they want Terry in the building. If we're looking at late August, then I'm at a 10. But right now, I'm at a 4.5.
Every day matters.
And the same thing we just said for Micah Parsons. We'll see. Let's go to the next one. Kmart, Trey Hendrickson is right now in a different state, both literally and figuratively, than the Cincinnati Bengals. What is your level of
Okay, now we can ring the alarm. I'm at a 20. You know why? Because I watched the Bengals defense last year. What will this unit look like with a new defensive coordinator and no Trey Hendrickson? No concerns about Joe Burrow and their offense. They score points at will. It is this defense that stopped them from getting to the playoffs and getting to a Super Bowl. So this, to me, that's the 20.
Me.
Yeah, and he's made a lot of money. He's already in Florida. Like, that's why it's a high concern, because I believe Terry McLaurin, he really wants to be out there.
Yes.
I think
Same
Trey.
with Micah's out there.
Yeah, I think Trey is like, if I don't have to be, if you're not gonna pay me, I don't have to be out there. So my concern is high for both of them, honestly.
So we got holdouts, we got hold-ins, and then we got the 49ers, Dominique, saying Brandon Ayuk is not close to returning. Scale of 1 to 10, what's your concern?
I mean, he's coming off of an injury, so I think it's still pretty early. It normally takes a little over a year, honestly, to feel better off that ACL. I mean, it's pretty low-level concern right now for me for Brandon Ayuk. Unless we're hearing there's some sort of setback, I think this is fine for him to not be back just yet.
Lewis.
Yeah, this is about a 5 for me. Because, look, I mean, give him some time. Let him kind of get his legs under him. Let's just make sure that there's no setbacks. Take it slow with this. I know John Lynch with his comments may have had people going, man, I mean, how long could this possibly be? And quite honestly, bigger picture, look, I think for San Francisco, I think you better temper your expectations for this football team on both lines of scrimmage. This team is rebuilding now, and the West has gotten stronger in the NFC. I just don't think this is going to be their year. No need to run.
Hello, xin chào tất cả mọi người. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn gấp một chiếc áo có màu xanh và màu đỏ như thế này nhá. Bây giờ các bạn vào làm cùng mình luôn nhé. Rồi, ok. Để bắt đầu vào làm thì các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình những dụng cụ như sau. Ở đây mình có chuẩn bị 2 tờ giấy có 2 màu khác nhau. Đó là màu đỏ và màu xanh dương này. Tiếp theo các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình một cái bút chì, một cái thước, một cây kéo, cuối cùng là một cây súng bắn keo như thế này nhá.